Do you want to know how we replace problem point motors, switches and frog juices on Daisy Lane? Well, stick around and we'll show you exactly how we do it. And welcome back to Daisy Lane TMD. As you can see, we're safely home after our latest exhibition, which was to the Milton Keynes Model Railway show just over a week ago now. Really good show, had a really good time, so thanks to Carl and the team for all the hard work they put in. As with all exhibitions, throughout the course of the day you find one or two running issues, and this one was no exception. This point motor here started to play up, would only throw in one direction. Not sure whether it's the point motor or the switch itself, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. And this one here seemed to suffer from lack of power, particularly for 060 locos. Now that could be down to the switch on the point motor, or it could be something else, and we'll have a look at that as well. In relation to the point motors, these are the ones we use, which are SEEP PM1 motors. They're the ones that come with the switch integral to the motor. So you've got basically 3 wires which throw the point, and you've got 3 wires for the switch. So we have the orange and black, which is the power, and we have the blue, which goes to the frog. So when the point motor throws, it changes the polarity of the frog. Now, unfortunately, over a period of time, these wear and do break down. And over several exhibitions, we've actually replaced some of these with frog juicers, which tend to be a lot better way of doing it. You'll see when we turn the board over that a lot of these 3 wires are being cut off because they're not being used, and we just simply use these 2 wires. So the reason we use these point motors, simply put, is because we have an awful lot of them in stock. We don't have to buy any new ones. I would love to use some other ones, but as we've got these, I don't see the point in buying any new ones. So these tend to be the ones that we use. So without further ado, let's flip Daisy over on her side and let's see if we can delve into what the problem is and see if we can resolve it. Okay, so now you can see we've turned Daisy upside down. This is the SEEP point motor which we use on this layout, which is giving us the problems. As you can see, this is the new one that we're going to put in. So we have a brown, a red and a green, which are the 2 switches and the common that the colours run across the whole of the board, so we know what each wire is doing. Originally it had an orange, a blue and a black. The orange and black are the feeds to the track, and the blue is the common. Again, that runs across the whole of the track, so we know which wire does what. Because this has got a frog juicer on it there, we're obviously not taking the feed from the point motor anymore, therefore those wires have been removed and connected to the frog juicer. So let's take this point motor out, put this one in, make sure it works before we go any further, and then we can install it properly. So I'll try to keep out of your way as I disconnect the relevant wires on this particular job. So that's the red one, that's the green one, and that's the brown one. So that's the red one in. Let's now do the green one. As you can see, we use connector blocks for these, which is very handy because that allows us to swap the point motors out very swiftly without any issues. In fact, we have been known to do it at an exhibition, so it can be that quick. So there we go. So that one's in now. So let's check that it works. So now we've got the point motor out, you can see that the point is throwing, as it should do, outside of the motor. So that leads me to think that either there's something wrong with the switch, or perhaps the point was a bit too tight. So let's now put it back and see how we get on. Okay, so now we've put Daisy back up the right way, connected her all up. Let's try the switch again. So it's still not throwing. It's a bit intermittent throw, so I think this leads me to believe that there's something wrong with the switch. So let's now look at the switch, make sure it's all okay. If not, let's replace the switch. Okay. So now I've disconnected the switch. We've got 3 bare wires here. We've got the common and the two wires to throw the point. So let's see whether it throws without the switch. One goes, that one goes, that one goes, that one goes. So I think we've proved now that it was the switch. So I will wire a new switch in now, and let's see how we get on with that. Catch you in a bit. Okay, so now we've changed the switch. Let's give it a whirl. And it seems like that's cured the problem. So now all that remains to do is to put the switch back into the control panel, put the control panel top back on, and there's that problem sorted. This is the switch that I took out. It's a straightforward point switch, so it's centre off, sprung. So when you push it one way, it'll throw, automatically springs back to the centre, and then you can throw it the other way. Point switch, seems to be working perfectly fine. However, whether something's gone inside, I don't know, but it's not worth the risk. So we'll throw that one and we'll stick with the one that we've got, as it clearly seems to be working fine. So let's put that back in, and that's that one jobbed up. So then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so now moving on to this area of track here, which, as I've said at the start, we had an issue with 060 locos running over it and stopping. This particular frog has in the past had an issue because the motor's been replaced, and I know that because there's actually a frog juicer already wired in here. So it may be that, or it may be this particular track here which is not getting a feed. Whatever it is, we need to sort it out. So first thing to do will be flip the board over and replace the frog juicer. Now these are the frog juicers that we use. These are a really great piece of kit. You simply have 2 feeds from the track into the piece of electronic wizardry here, and a separate wire which comes out, which goes to the frog. Now once this is installed, it will sense as a loco goes over this frog what polarity it needs to be, and if it needs to switch, it will change within a split second. Therefore the loco will not stop or judder, instead will carry on. Really great piece of kit. Takes away the need to have the switch in the point motor, which, as I said before, does have a tendency to wear out after a while, and they work really well. So we'll obviously cut these wires down and put some small ferrules on them before we wire them in. But let's turn the board over, have a look, see what we've got, and see what we need to do. Okay, so let's disconnect this frog juicer. So let's first take this screw out which holds it to the underside of the board, and then the particular tape that's holding it in place. So now we can see the 3 wires that are holding it in place. So let's take the blue out, the orange, and the black. Like that. Tighten that one back up. Okay, so now let's put the new one back. So let's first of all fix it in position. Okay, so that's in position. Now that all remains to be done is to connect the wires up. So let's put the blue to the blue. The orange to the orange. And the black to the black. Make sure they are fixed. One of the important things to do is to make sure that the wires do not foul the point throw. So make sure they're out of the way so the point will still throw. Okay, so now we've got that in position. Let's turn the board upside down, put some power into Daisy, and let's see what happens. Okay. Right, so now we're all wired up. Let's give a loco a run and see what happens. There we go, the crucial point now. And we can see the loco runs over it lovely in that direction. So let's stop him and bring him back. And again, lovely over that section. So obviously the frog juicer was faulty in some way, so we've replaced that, and that's cured that problem. Okay, so there we are. The point rectified, the area of track rectified that was giving poor running. All tip-top now, all ready for our next exhibition. So I'm going to leave the video here. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe and follow. And if you have any comments you'd like to leave, that'd be much appreciated. So thanks for watching, and see you again soon.